Welcome back. Goodness, I'm over halfway through the week here and I didn't even get anything recorded yet. I'll have to change. So, interesting story. A couple weeks ago when I said that my service contract on the Konica was terminated, well, it turns out it's not. And you know what? I should have known better. You know, people that sell you things are not always completely honest. And I mean, it's part of the reason that, you know, most salespeople, I think, are slightly crooked. They're trying to get a sale. You know what? I can't blame them. They're trying to feed their families. You know, there are a handful of salespeople that I deal with that are upstanding people, and I really appreciate them. Yeah, well, it turns out that my contract's good for another year, my service contract, and basically said salesperson was telling me that it's ending to pressure me into buying a new machine. And well, when my reply was, "Oh, cool, then I can service it myself," needless to say, I wasn't that excited. And you know, shame on me. You know, I give people a benefit of the doubt. You know, I trust people probably a little sooner than I should. Oh well. So now I need to decide, do I want to actually terminate the contract, or do I want to keep running it with the service contract? And I think I'm going to try and end it. I mean, it's going to be a simple machine for me to service and save a couple bucks. It'll also make for some good videos too, right? Oh yeah, other exciting news. I started a Patreon page, and I think that'll be fun. I want to start putting spreadsheets of how I estimate click and maintenance charges on their service manuals and other things that are going to be useful tools to other business owners out there. So yeah, don't feel obligated, but if you want to join that, I'll put a link in the description. So for certain repeat jobs that are very standard, so for some people I do a black and white 8.5 by 11 saddle stitch booklet. And for a job like that, for estimating, this is one way that I create estimates quickly. So instead of going through my spreadsheets and entering the data, I just have a chart with page count and print quantity, and that will give me the price. Really speeds it up. Enough complaining about salespeople. I want this video to be a little more informative. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks of what I do to boost my efficiency and get as much done as possible in the day with as few mistakes. First of all, when you get to work, take your cell phone out of your pocket, put it on your desk, out of view, and don't look at it until you're done working that day. That'll save you a lot of time. Another way I have saved myself countless hours is getting an automated telephone answering machine. So when you call my business, you get an automated message and then you push a number for the certain department or voicemail box you're going to go to. Now, the main reason I got that was to eliminate telemarketers. So automated phone calls that call anymore, they just don't happen because a machine can't push a number to get to your mailbox, get to my phone. The next thing, I'm typically not at my desk. I'm working back here. So that saves me a lot of time, and I don't have to stop running the piece of machine to run out and answer the phone. Now, I'm sure there's lots of customers that hate that and they want to get a hold of me as quickly as possible, but the reality is so many phone calls are just not necessary. So sending an email or figuring something out on their own is going to be much better for me. And if you make yourself very available, people are going to contact you very quickly. They're going to be quick to give you a phone call. But if you're hard to get a hold of, you know, they're going to try and solve things on their own. So automated telephone is definitely a time saver. Oh yeah, another good one, eliminate distractions. So take that bookmark off your internet browser that takes you to Facebook or my YouTube channel, because when you click on that, it takes you away from work. So get rid of them. Another great way to boost productivity: order parts before you need them. So I cleaned the wires on this a week or two ago and improved the quality. So I'm anticipating having to replace all those wires at some point. It might be 2 days, it might be 2 months. But I ordered them and they're here, ready to put in there as soon as they fail. You know, another thing, E-clips, C-clips, those are things that are nice to have on hand, because just earlier this morning, sorry I didn't film it, a gear fell off the back of the fuser on the 1200. You know, I was down for 3 minutes. I just pulled a clip out, put the clip back on, boom, back up running. You don't need to order those parts. And they're cheap. You can get like an entire set for like 10 bucks. Make sure you have parts on hand. And potential headaches is emptying or replenishing things before necessary. So after I'm done running the stitcher, I'll empty out the bin most of the time. But usually empty that out so it's empty for the next run. You know, the worst thing is to start running and then that thing fills up and then starts bringing waste out the back here. So do that stuff before needed. Same thing with the 3 knife trimmer. Empty out all the bins so that the next time you turn it on, you're good to go. You're good to run, you know, 500 books without having to do a thing. Or another good thing, when the stitcher wire gets low and you notice it, replace it. Because the worst thing is to be stitching 1,000 booklets and then you notice that there's only one stitch in, you know, the last 200, and you have to go back and stitch those by hand. You know, when it's getting low, just replace it and then it's good to go for the next time. Numbers. I don't know if it'll work for everybody, but I remember a lot of things by numbers instead of trying to remember a list in my head. Now, I write lists of all the stuff down that I need to get done. It's the only way I can keep track of everything that's going on, is to write it down on paper, and then it's written there and remembered. But if I can't write something down and I know that by the end of the day I need to take out the trash, call a customer, and order paper, I remember 3. I need to do 3 things before the end of the day instead of the list of things. For some reason it works. I don't know if it'll work for other people, but that's what I do. Remember a number. It's easier for me to remember a number of things that I need to do. Here's one of my favorites. Move something out of place to remind you to do something that you think you might forget in the future. So sometimes I'm laminating multiple covers, and as I stack them in here, I like to put a waste sheet on top so I don't waste any of the good covers. Well, if I forget to put that in there, possibly the first cover will be damaged. So what I do is I take my waste sheet of paper and I put it right on top here, so that I cannot start the laminator up without putting that in there. So put stuff in a place that reminds you that you have to do something. I mean, even if it's to take the trash out, put the trash can over next to the door. It's out of place, and you're not gonna be able to leave that day without saying, why is that there? It works for me. do your best to give and get as much information as you can when you're working with a client. So if you're going to email your client a proof to approve before printing, also include in that email, the pricing, just to clearly communicate it, and ask them, where you need to ship it or who to invoice. Just gather all the information you can at one shot so that you can just quickly produce the job, invoice it, and be done with it. Save some time. Do your very best when you pick up a job or an email or something that you need to do. Don't put it down until you have it done. A lot of the time it's easy to slide something to the side and say, I'll do that later, but just do it. And then it's finished, and then you don't delay getting that project finished. And last, but certainly not least, my boy Ben Franklin, once again, he once said, "Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." I think there's some truth to that one. So if you want to dive into printing a little bit deeper, head on over to my Patreon account. I did put on there, my first post is a spreadsheet that I use for simple digital print estimating. It's just real simple. You fill it out from the top down, and then it gives you a quote, a price. You're gonna have to tailor a few things specifically to your shop and your equipment, but once you do that, you should be able to use it to make real fast quotes, and then you can build that into anything you really want. I mean, you can do a lot of cool stuff with spreadsheets. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys later.